Dusty,
Yes, sir. Dave Clark.
we got a pretty neat episode, right?
We have a great episode that was just, I can't wait for the people to hear
Travis
listen to it.
Cottrell, one of the most unique stories in Christian music, and he's a historian.
He is. He knows everything. He knows more than you and more than me.
Well, let's let him think that at least.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Hey, tune into our podcast. Subscribe while you're there. We love
To tell the stories.
Dusty, tonight we've got somebody here in the room at the table that we have been talking about almost from the very beginning of
For
this
a long
podcast.
time. We've known him a long time. The church has known him a long time, and a lot of people are going to be really
And they
happy
still
to-
love him.
And they love him and
Well,
his music.
still
And,
beautiful.
and so you do the introductions. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled.
I am thrilled as well to have Travis Cottrell in the room.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we don't know where this is going to go. We just know it's going to be fun.
Literally, we haven't talked one thing about what we're going to talk about.
Nothing. And that's the part. That's the great part of that, because we want to hear the stories, and we love to tell the stories.
We love to tell the stories. We love to hear the stories. And we love the history of the music.
Yeah.
And as much as anybody that I know in this town,
Yeah.
I told Dusty before you got here, I said, now, we both know like the title of a record and what songs were on it. I said, Travis
Yeah.
can name the record,
Yeah.
tell you what the sequence was, who sang what solo, and know what part
Yeah.
each person sang.
It's true.
Is that true?
It's true. I have so much useless
Yeah.
information stuck in my brain.
Well, I've known Travis 25
Yeah,
years,
maybe.
long. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did not know he was from Boone, North Carolina.
Yes.
Southern gospel
Proudly.
territory all
Oh,
the way. The
proudly.
singing news. I
Oh,
don't know if you-
listen.
So I'm anxious to know if you knew anything about Southern gospel music.
Oh, I was entrenched. Well, entrenched is a strong statement,
Yeah.
but I was thrown into it early. So can
Okay.
I tell us?
Yes.
Is it too early to
no,
tell a story?
tell stories.
So, do you know a guy named Greg Bentley?
Oh yeah, of course. We all
kind
know
of a
Greg.
famous tenor in that.
And he does A&R now and still does at Horizon Records.
Chris White's
Chris White's Crossroads. Yeah,
I
does.
didn't know Greg was a singer.
with Squire Parsons,
Squire
but
Parsons
numerous other
and the Hoppers for a minute.
Yes, yes. So this I got to.
So before that, he's from Boone.
I didn't know that. Okay,
He was in a group. His brother Rodney had a trio, a Southern gospel trio called Heart and Soul. They had lost their tenor singer. Greg was singing with them but he was about to take off. This would have been 1982, 83. And there was an alto in the group. So it was the alto, her name was Wanda Cook, Greg Bentley, and Rodney Bentley. And they come to my church and they do a concert on a Sunday night, Perkinsville Baptist in Boone, North Carolina. So, of course, I'm eating up with it. I'm listening to the whole thing. At that age, that's when I was starting to be really eaten up with all kinds of music. And after the concert, like the big show off that I was, I'll go straight to the piano and I'm just playing the piano. And, blah, blah, blah. And Rodney comes up to me and goes, "You play really good. Can you just play anything? Can you play that in another key?" And so I did that. And he asked me a couple of questions. And he goes, "Are your parents in this room?" I said, "Yes, sir. They're right over there." And so he went and talked to my parents. The next thing you know, the next weekend, I'm going and I'm doing 3 concerts with them the next weekend.
no.
13 years old.
No,
They gave me a list of songs to listen to and learn. I learned them. It was a lot of stuff that I still could sing to you this day because they were doing a lot of, that was the year that the Rex Nealon singers came out with Feeling at Home,
which is a great record.
which was the first record that Karen did with him,
Listen to this.
which had Joy Bells on it and Foot on the Rock, had How Do I Look Leaving This World, had Wedding Day, which is a song that Karen sang that Brent Lamb wrote, which I know that you'll love that. So anyway, I learned all those songs and we go to this concert. So he's like,
Did your parents make a cut of how did they commit you knowing that?
They just like, "Do you want to do this?" I mean, my parents, so they were 45 and 40 when I was born, right?
Oh, wow.
So my siblings were 18, 14, and 12 when I was born.
Oh, my
So I was
God.
very much like a grandchild.
Yeah.
My parents were middle class at best, but they thought they were rich. I mean, they just
That's insane.
it's crazy. My dad was in World War II. He was a prisoner in World War II.
No.
He was in a concentration camp for the last 6 months of the war. That's another story. But so I'm living this weird life with parents who I adored, but they felt very much like grandparents. And I was spoiled like a grandchild.
Of course,
I'm just going to tell
you
you that.
Of course,
Gee, I never would have thought that about you.
So bad. So anyway, they're like, "You want to do this, Travis?" I said, "Yeah, it looks fun." So I did it. Well, week 2, Greg gets sick. And he can't go out on the road with him. And so he's calling me, telling me, "I think we're going to have to cancel these." And I said, "Well, you want me to sing?" My voice hadn't changed. I mean, I hadn't hit puberty. I was little. I was 13 years old and my voice hadn't changed. And I said, "I can sing tenor." And he's like, "Are you sure?" And so we got together that week and I'm just playing and singing, "I got my foot on the rock and mama." And they're like, "Let's do it." So let's do it. So Greg never came back. He was like, "Well, if you're good," because he was kind of helping his brother out. "If you're good," then he left and went with the Hoppers. And so
Unbelievable.
I'm singing all of this Southern gospel stuff, having the time of my life. But then something snapped after a few months of doing it. I'm a fun haver. Like I've always been a fun haver. I've been, and I was missing my friends, and I was missing school, and I was like, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I snapped and I left the group, and I mean, we were about to go in some studio. I don't know what Rodney had, and I was like, I can't do this, but that was my foray. It was my first little foray into singing for a living, and it was Southern gospel. I was in high school with Mylon Hayes. We sang in choir together.
I didn't know that either.
I love Mylon.
I love Mylon.
Oh my
Tony
gosh.
Green was a year ahead of me in high school
That's right, because I forget they're over
because the Greens were over there. Yeah, and we had one semester in high school together before he dropped out and homeschooled. You know, whatever that was for him at that time. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh my God.
So I was.
So the answer to your question, does he know Southern gospel?
Yeah, he does know, which I knew he probably did.
You hit it well.
I didn't even mean to. In college, I had a suite mate, Michael Waldrop, and we called him Southern Gospel Mike. And he got me back into it. And that would have been like 1990. And I remember.
What school was that?
Belmont. Well, I went 2 years to Appalachian at home.
Yeah,
Appalachian State and in Boone.
Trivia question. What Southern gospel singer went there?
Southern gospel singer?
Look at you.
Luke Combs isn't a Southern gospel singer, is he?
Did he go to school there?
Luke did. Yeah.
Wow.
Is that, I shouldn't know this, but isn't that where Jeff Wisnett went?
I don't know. I didn't know that if that's the case.
I didn't know that either. He's over from that area, so okay. That's so funny.
There you go.
There's
well, as long as you guys don't know the answer, then
then we're going to say it's just.
That's right. Yeah.
So Mike Waldrop, Southern Gospel Mike, we started singing Southern Gospel in college, and he got his hair cut by Steve Hurst.
Steve Hurst used to.
Steve Hurst School of Music. So I got my hair cut by Steve Hurst in college.
Did you come to the School of Music? Did you?
I taught. I was a voice teacher the first 2 years.
Oh my!
At the Steve Hurst School of Music.
Teaching songwriting then.
Yeah, you were. And it was at Trevecca.
Yeah, it was at Trevecca for a long time.
And he was so kind to me.
Okay.
I loved those days.
Yeah.
I loved those days.
Interesting. And you got, so you only went to Belmont 2 years.
2 years. 2 at App and 2 at Belmont.
And didn't you get some like big alumni award a couple years ago that you would think you would have to go 4 years? Is that right? Do I remember that?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything else to say about that award. I don't know why I got it. It was a low.
Sarah Davidson got it.
Is it the same award that Sarah got?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think she got it a couple of years ago. But it's really based on what the great things that he's done.
And hers had an asterisk beside it, said better than Travis.
Yes, it did. No,
that comes every year with the award. Yes.
Next.
So one of my favorite Travis stories. I got a bunch.
I bet you do.
It's been a few years now, but we were going to a conference in Atlanta, and my daughter Anna was going with me, and I was going with Littleness, and I said, so who's on the program? And she and another friend were like, Travis Cottrell's there. And I mean, I've known you so many years. I didn't know you were that big a deal with my kids.
No.
So
This is a problem in your parenting that you allowed that to happen.
That's exactly
so-
right. That's exactly right.
I tell my daughter that I know him. And she's like, yeah, right. And I said, no, I do. Well, now I'm
Steve,
trying
this
to
is so dumb.
I'm trying to justify to my own kid that I know Travis Cottrell.
Yes.
And so I send Travis a text and I say, we're coming and my daughter wants to meet you. It's a big deal. Well, he thought I was jerking him around.
Right.
Well, yeah, right. Your kids want to meet you. Right.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And
I
so
mean-
we get there, and there's this real weird thing because he thinks I'm setting him up. They think I'm setting, and I'm like, no,
No, this is the truth.
I thought that's literally not true.
That's so funny.
that we
so
knew each
funny.
other.
No. No, we only hoped that. But no, I'm kidding.
Yeah. So you may not know some of my history with Travis.
I don't. But I bet you.
I mean, he's the reason I got started in songwriting. Well,
I wouldn't go that far, but I have a piece of paper, and I should have got it out tonight, but I sent you a scan of it. And back in the day, we had those little memo pads that you could duplicate without carbon.
Yeah.
And I came back to the office one day and I
That's
said,
because you're old.
yes. And I said,
I'm seeing if I have it in my phone.
I bet I've got it. I said, anybody call? And my assistant said, yes, Travis Cottrell called and left me a message.
There it is right there.
And so, Dusty, read that and then hold it up to your camera.
Okay. Look at me. Travis Cottrell is thinking about doing a custom project of his songs.
Songs, probably.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I know. That's why mine are sitting right here.
He has resigned from Brentwood and wants to do session work. Would that be right?
That's right.
Yep.
I quit my job at Brentwood 2 weeks before my wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
And
That's pretty funny.
and I saved that, and I don't save a lot of stuff. So those listening on the audio only version, you just have to imagine what that looks like. But
That's
it's
very
the
cool.
original
That's very cool.
note that I had saved. And something, I hadn't known you that long, but you had a contagious, it's whatever they saw when you were 13, that you just go, you know what, something good's going to happen with this kid.
Did you call him?
Sure.
Did you produce his project?
No, it would have been a lot better if I had of, but
It would have.
I'm kidding.
Did you go and do a project at that point? Did you
I
do a
did.
custom
Well,
project at
that would have
point?
been 93. It wasn't until 96. I did a custom project that a guy named Dan Muckala produced.
I know Dan. Yep, I remember Dan. Yep.
What was your first label project?
My first label project would have been with Integrity.
That's what I thought you did something with Integrity.
Yes,
Yeah.
with Integrity Music, I did 2 records in the early 2000s. One was called Unashamed Love, and one was Alive Forever.
Yep. And then that probably helped with the relationship with Chris Thompson.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Because then he was my A&R guy at
And then-
Integrity, and then he moved to Nashville to start his own thing.
That's right.
And I went with
Yeah.
him.
So I was going through my collection today.
Oh no.
Oh Lord Jesus, help me! Jesus, please deliver.
Do you
me
remember
from
this?
I do.
Oh,
I
my
do.
goodness.
I do.
I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how we really
That
met,
is
though,
so
We will in a
funny.
minute. We'll get there.
because you were forced. I was forced
That
upon me.
is so funny.
So you'll hold that up to the camera as well.
That is hilarious.
that's a pretty
I remember
young-
this.
Oh my gosh!
I do.
1999, right there.
So
Which does not seem that long ago to me.
Oh gosh!
I didn't bring the CD because I wanted to hold on to that, and I knew if you saw it, you'd take my copy.
Oh, yeah, so you couldn't. So nobody.
But again, I
have it.
didn't keep everything
I remember Jeff Pitzer. Is that his name? Pitzer?
He produced that. Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
I remember him.
Yeah.
I met him. I remember he was kind of an upcoming. I have not heard anything about him in years. I just remember he did a lot of
He
projects.
was so talented. He
He
texted
was
me this week.
very
Yeah.
talented, and I ran into him by total accident, picking up a part at Sears when Sears was at maybe it was either Rivergate or
Yeah.
Cool Springs. And he said his name. And I said, "You're the producer," and he had heard and he knew who I was because I was at Word.
Wow.
But it's the only time I ever had a really good conversation with him. We were picking up parts, and he was there was somebody else he produced that I loved their music.
Yeah.
So how far?
great.
This is called "I Lift My Eyes." How far into your solo career was this?
So I did four independent records in 96, 98, 99, and 2002. Wow. And that was number 3. And so the trajectory was I quit Brentwood 2 weeks before my wedding in 1993. Wow. Started writing because I started getting calls to do sessions. Yeah. And did that first record in 96. I started with Beth Moore in 1998.
I was trying to figure,
And
wow. And you're still there.
Still there.
And you got a little part-time
28 years
thing at Brentwood Baptist.
Part-time thing, yes.
That requires about 80 hours a week.
Right, exactly. Every job of mine requires 80 hours a week. Yeah. But yeah, so signed with her. I mean, I didn't sign with her, but I started with her in 98. And that's when I started going, I'm not very smart. Like, I don't think business. I just started doing events with her, and they were like, you'll have a product table?
Yeah,
I'm like, what product?
Yeah.
Now, we met originally through a mutual friend named David Moffett.
That's right.
And David, before I knew you, David talked about his friend Travis, and he said, I can't explain it. He just always shows up in the middle of the story. And it was like, and when you say I don't understand business, I'm not buying that things always just happen. I mean, yes, God's had his hand on you, but David's early description of you has proved pretty accurate. And that may have been part of why I kept the original note. Another funny memory, and you may not remember this. My father-in-law, who passed away this year, was a pastor. And he always was in good humor, but always gave me grief about not working, not having a job.
Of course.
And my response was always, that means a lot coming from a guy who works one day a week.
As a pastor.
So years ago, I get a call from a guy named Ed Key, who worked at Brentwood Music. And Ed said, would you be open to writing a Christmas musical with me? And I said, well, I've already got one coming out this year. And he said, would you consider doing it under a pen name? And I said, sure. Really? So I wrote all the lyrics, and I wrote them all under my father-in-law's name to be funny.
That is funny.
But nobody knew. Wasn't going to tell, and didn't tell anybody except my father-in-law, just to,
Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm in the office, and the phone rings, and there was no hello. And my father-in-law's name was William Dodd. There was no hello or anything. It was Travis on the other line, and he goes, William Dodd, my eye. I'd know your lyrics anywhere.
That's so funny.
Do you remember that?
That's so funny. That's funny.
And you know what? Guys like you and I were students of, and it's, to this day, one of my favorite things is to hear a song and go, okay, I know that style had to have been written with, and try and pick the co-writers of a song. It's amazing how the fingerprint is there.
Yeah.
But you nailed it. You were the only one in town. And I couldn't even go to the studio that day because no one could know it was mine.
Right.
So how did you get with Beth?
So
I mean, you were doing music.
I was doing music. We met in 1993. When I moved here in 90 to go to Belmont, I jumped into Two Rivers Baptist Church.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
I went there. I don't know how far back we'll go, but I went there because this is how much of a music nerd I was. I went there because I knew two of my heroes went there. Number one was Brent Lamb, who I had seen at a thing. I knew that he had shouted out. I remembered when I was 15 years old that he had shouted out his youth group was at Ridgecrest when I was at Ridgecrest. And I was like, he goes to a church called Two Rivers. And then I also knew that Kathy Hill, who wrote children's music, went to that church. And I was such a fan of hers because I directed children's music my whole life.
Which her son-in-law works for us and is the computer
Yes.
nerd of all this
Isn't
stuff.
that crazy?
Yeah.
So she has my. I
Yeah.
love her so much. And
precious.
so
Yeah,
I went
yeah.
to Two Rivers Baptist Church because I thought I'm going
my
to see
God.
Kathy Hill and Brent Lamb. And so anyway, in 1993 we lost our worship pastor, and the pastor asked me to be the worship leader.
You were
for
playing
interim.
for the 6th grade.
Yes, I played for Kathy's. There were so many children that they had a different choir for every grade. She led the 6th grade choir, and I was her pianist.
Isn't that funny?
Okay, that is crazy.
And I loved it. I mean, I guarded that
Yeah.
because I loved it so much. But so when they lost their worship leader, they asked me to step in while they looked for a worship leader. I was 23. It's Two Rivers, like choir and orchestra. I knew
was
nothing.
huge at that
I knew
point.
nothing. But during that time, Beth came through and did a youth weekend. And she, this is so funny. This is so out of the realm of what would happen now. But they wanted her to participate in our Sunday service, but she couldn't sing.
Yeah.
So she signed a song to a track.
Okay. Okay.
This is a true story.
That is
What
the
song?
best.
Do you remember?
I think it was We Shall Behold Him.
Dottie
Sure,
Rambo,
that
Sandy
was-
Yes.
Patty. There's the Rambo thing.
And let me tell you, in perfect,
Yeah,
in
in
perfect
perfect.
Beth form, it was unbelievable.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it was.
And I mean, tears. So we met, we just kind of knocked it in our brains. Well, after that, I started leading worship for Lifeway things and started getting busier. By 1998, a lady named Faith Watley calls me and goes, "Hey, we've got this lady. We're going to do some women's events. We would like for you to lead the worship." And I remember on the phone going, why don't you call a lady? Why don't you call Kathy Tricoli? I mean, I literally said that on the phone. And she was like, we just think you're the right person for it. We don't have an explanation.
Unbelievable.
And so we did the first one, and I looked at Beth, and she looked at me, and went, we met that 5 years ago at Two Rivers Baptist, and we did that first event Monday morning. Following that event, she faxed Lifeway, because that's what she did. It was before
before
email,
yes, all
productivity.
that. Yep.
It's a match, written in big black magic marker, just a whole page. It's a match. And that was like 1998.
And you're still curious.
still there.
And that's, back in that
That's-
day, nobody would have dreamed that her career would have
You're
exploded.
exactly right.
It was crazy.
You're exactly
But
right.
that first year, we did 4 events. They all sold out at like anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 people. In 99, we were in a lot of churches, but we did our first arena
Yeah.
the second year in Tallahassee.
Your daughter
10,000.
sings. She
She
did.
does. Yeah, she still does. Yeah. And my wife.
Yeah, I remember.
It's
And
kinda
you
a
put
family
all
thing.
the music together. It was you that
Yeah,
did everything
yeah.
for all that.
Let's back up a little bit to Two Rivers. There's some more stuff there.
Yes.
All right, so you went from 6th grade. You did interim worship leader. Then you went back, and then they asked you again. That after
They
do
asked
I
me to
remember
do
that
it
correctly?
again. Yes. And the crazy thing was, so I did the interim for 3 months. Then they brought a man named Dick Hill, who was of that generation. There was nobody like him.
Okay.
He only stayed 11 months, but in that 11 months, he became like a dad to me, and my worship mentor in every regard. And he just passed away 2 years ago. But even so, he only stayed 11 months, but we stayed close. But after that 11 months, they come back, Travis, will you do this again? And I did it that time for about a year.
Till it quit
And-
being fun again.
Well, until I realized, I don't ever want to work at a church. No, not really. But that was when God kind of did this transformation of, even though I've had these paradigms where I've been an artist, but I've never felt like an artist. I felt like a worship leader who sings.
Right. Yeah.
And that was when it happened. That second stint where I realized I watched Dick Hill and how people responded to his leadership because of what he was doing. And that shift happened in my life in that year.
But you defined that. What you're describing didn't really exist. Now we have a lot of CCM artists who are worship leaders. They learn communication on the road. But you were doing that back before we knew what to call that.
I agree with that.
Let's talk. You did something while you were there. See if I can remember the name of it. Waiters.
Oh my gosh, yes. And you know who I wrote that with? Kathy Hill.
Kathy Hill.
Kathy Hill.
So the same guy who wrote Jesus Saves also wrote a song called I Want's What I Want's When I Want. Is that correct?
That's true. That was Kathy. And I want's what I want's right now.
That's so funny.
And it was
so funny.
and it was all about God's timing.
It was all about, yes.
And on the cover was just like a hodgepodge of watches and notebooks and
You're exactly right. That was 1994
a black silhouette of a waiter with a red apron.
with the red apron.
That's so
Impressed.
funny.
I'm impressed, Dave. I'm impressed and scared.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot I can pull out. But okay, so and if I remember right, Kathy was known for kids musicals, but that was a youth musical.
It was her first, youth musical.
And that was back when they were youth choirs doing youth musicals, and
Yes.
that kind of doesn't happen much anymore.
It doesn't. But that was I think that was that year's best-selling youth musical, and I did it at Two Rivers, and we had all this we had this lady that went to our church, who was a choreographer at Opryland.
Wow.
Her name,
Wow.
Is it Shay Rowland?
yeah, I know Shay.
Was she that?
Yeah, her husband Tom was a singer at Opryland.
Yes.
With Jerry Sally.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
my gosh.
You guys. That
my
is
gosh,
so
we're old,
funny.
y'all.
Shay Rowland.
Shay
That
Rowland,
is
and she
so
did this incredible choreography with these
Yes.
trays, and the most impressive thing. I just loved working with her, and we did that whole musical.
I didn't know she was involved in that, but
That's so funny.
yeah, we go way back with them. Interesting, just how these circles.
Yeah.
I know.
So you write that musical right about the same time
Right.
you met, or we met officially.
Yes.
And you want to tell that story? Or you want my version of it?
I'll tell my version,
Yeah,
and then you tell your version.
I want.
So I was in a group with David Moffat in college called
Witness.
Witness. Yes, in North Carolina. We're both North Carolina boys. And then he moved here, and then I transferred to Belmont, and we're here. He and Susan, some of the dearest people living on the earth to me ever. You know, they're just like an all-timer. And he had won Estes.
He didn't win.
He didn't win the songwriting.
I'll tell you that story after this.
Come Back Soon, was that the song?
So real quick, I'm a guy. I don't really care who wins.
Right.
I'm listening for something in a writer. And after we were at the Mount Ips Lodge, and after the contest, David comes over to me, and he's real shy, and I'm real shy, and so neither of us are looking up. And he said, he stammered, literally,
Right.
David.
Oh yeah.
And I said, so did you win? He said, no. But I had heard his song, and I said, where do you live? Nashville. He said, I said, what do you do? Well, I work for McSpadden Publishing. Do you remember that?
Yes.
He was tape copy guy. Back in
Yes.
that day, that's when you pitch a
Yes.
song, somebody had to make the tape.
On
I
Music
said,
Row.
he said, would you listen to my song? I said, well, let me ask you an odd question. If you work for McSpadden Publishing, why are you asking me to listen to your songs? And he said, it's just a real awkward door to open, and I totally get that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I said, here's the deal. If you'll pick 3 of your best songs, and I have an office on the 2nd floor at Benson, and if you'll bring those by and leave them on my desk, I want to hear more of what you have. And when I heard them, I just went, oh my gosh.
Wow.
And called him and said, would you be willing to leave McSpadden and come and work for me? Now, pick it up where you...
Well, I've got a question first.
All right.
When you met him and first heard his music, did you feel a similarity in his writing and yours?
Oh, yeah.
Because I've always felt that about
Interesting. And I introduced him like to Sue Smith. Sue was a young writer, and so David was writing things that I heard, and I don't always get it, but I trust it when I do. I always have. and and give me a minute. I could probably think of the songs that he left that day on my desk.
Yeah, I would love to know that.
And so David came over, and so he was there, and there's Long Hollow Baptist.
Yeah.
And fast forward a few years later, David said, there's been a church split, and they're asking me if I'd come out and help out a day a week. Do you mind? I said, no, go for it.
They had like 150 people.
Yes. And then it was like, it's all right if I go a couple of days a week, and then it was 3, and I'm loving it, because that's where his heart was.
Right. Yeah.
And I remember running into him, and obviously eventually went full-time, grew the music program over there, and I ran into him down at a restaurant at Rivergate one day, and he said something I'll never forget. He said, I thought when I moved here, God wanted me to be an artist, a Christian singer. And he said, it dawned on me a few weeks ago that I'm singing to more people every Sunday than some artists see in a year.
That's right. That's right.
So true.
So David and Susan, great friends. And
I love it. He called me and he is like, you want to write a song? And I never consider myself a true songwriter, and I don't want you to comment on that. I've always called myself a singer who knows chords, which is kind of a dangerous thing to be. Like,
which we call a songwriter, oddly
right?
enough.
Okay. That's all I am. I know chords. So he calls me, goes, let's work on this song. And so he had this lyric called Child, It's Only Thunder. Mm-hmm. And we wrote this version of it, and we were like trying to think Stephen Curtis thoughts, because we loved those real life conversations and More to This Life, those records, and a little bit country.
Yep.
So we wrote this version. Child, it's only thunder. There's no need to be afraid. For as quickly as it started, the storm will pass away. If you need peace of mind, come and sit here by my side, and together we'll listen to the thunder, celebrate the wonder. I don't even remember how it ended, but so he turned it in, and he was like, and he calls me later and he goes, they're pushing this back. They want it to be just a little more gospel. They want to think something kind of along the lines of a Larnell Harris. And so I was like, okay, what can you do with that? So like, just in their little apartment in Goodlettsville, and I make a little, piano thing, and stand in his bathtub with a microphone and make a silly little demo and gives it to you. And the next thing I know, like I haven't projected like I want to be a songwriter, or I never thought like that. I never thought, oh, somebody somewhere is writing these songs. I always knew who it was.
Yeah.
But it didn't occur to me to think of maybe I could be that person.
Yeah.
And then, then he calls and goes, well, Larnell Harris has that song on hold. And maybe you demoed it with Chris Blizzard. You demoed it with Chris
Blizzard, a guy that I don't know where he is now, but
I don't know either.
And I remember cell phones were kind of new back in that day, and I left Larnell's house, and I think about it when I go up 65, because it's just south of Gene Snyder Parkway. I pulled over because it was the first place I could get clear signal. Pulled over on the interstate, called him and Moffett, and said, Larnell's cutting your song.
Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I still get like I got sweaty palms just thinking about that. That's so fun.
And I can say this now. I've never said this.
Yeah.
I'm pretty tough on songs. And I always, for years, I'll tell writers, if they ask me, this raises a flag, and I've never told a writer to change something or do it how I would have written it. But I'll say, this line bothers me, or this, and if they are a student of the process, they'll find it.
Yeah.
That song had a line that I hated, and the song was so good, it's one of the few times I never said a word.
Wow.
In the chorus?
Yeah.
Come and sit here by my side. We'll appreciate the wonder, and we'll appreciate the wonder.
I have no idea what that, but it rhymed. And I'm a guy who thinks that the most important line in a section is not the last line; it's the line that sets up the last line. And that line,
And you didn't love it.
I did not, but I played him the demo, and I knew as soon as we hadn't got halfway through, he said, "I'll do that." But I always hated that line. So,
So funny. Wow.
and you would have sold.
Oh,
Was that I Choose Joy? Was
I
that-
Choose Joy.
yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And so to get an outside cut on that was a bigger deal.
His records were 12 of the best songs in
I
existence.
can
Because,
agree.
Oh,
do you know why? Greg Nelson
well, yes.
was one of the most iconic song guys in our
And
industry.
he would go after those songs.
Yeah.
And they didn't just I mean, he'd go
Yeah.
look for them. That's what, when you look at Sandy, those Steve
Yeah.
Green in those days, man, those were the records
Yes.
that every song.
And everybody
was
was
a-
waiting on him.
Well, then
and
you were
every-
getting cuts on those records. You wrote Father Hath Provided, didn't you?
That was my very first number
Well,
one.
and what I think that is so interesting I remember that those albums would come out, but every track would come out at the same time.
Right.
And a songbook, because the people were singing the songs.
So-
it didn't matter if it was a chorus or something. Every song would have a soundtrack to it.
But Greg had and for the good and bad, and writers back in that day, the first song that Sue Smith ever co-wrote,
What does he have to do?
I'm impressed.
Okay.
What is-
Gina from Truth sang it on their record Now and Forever.
So here's the backstory.
Gosh.
Greg Nelson heard that, put that on hold for Sandy, which was a huge cut.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And they used that for a year to play for everybody in town. We turned down a Larnell cut. We turned down a Jim Murray cut. And the list went on and on. Everybody that heard it asked for it, and they said no.
Wow.
And it got to the end, and Sandy went back in the studio, and by then they were over it.
And so Truth.
But still,
recorded
it was a great Truth.
And I
cut.
said the first cut that, and I was thrilled to have a Truth cut,
Oh,
but
Wow.
but we had been told for a year we were getting a Sandy cut, a big deal,
gosh, yes.
and it changed my trajectory going forward. About I don't want to know who sells what anymore. I want somebody that's excited about my song to do it,
Right.
and I have stuck with that since that song. Another piece of trivia? Do you know who sang that live on stage for Truth?
Not Lisa Cochran. Not the girl Gina. Let me think. Karen Fairchild?
Jody Harris,
Jody Harris.
Mark Harris's wife.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Who does he have to be before you will praise him?
And you know that's
Listen to it.
you know the story about how Don Cook came into that song.
No.
So Sue and I realized it was Sue's first co-write, and I hadn't done much of it, but I love Sue. I loved her writing. And in fact, Cindy and I have been married 43 years. Sue was the person I showed the ring to before I gave it to Cindy.
Oh my goodness.
So she's been family all the way through.
Yeah.
So we realized we had a lyric bigger than either of us could write. And Sue said, "So what do we do?" I said, "There are 3 music writers here. I'm going to go out in the hall. The first one I run into,
I do remember. You've told me this.
I will give them that lyric." And the 3 writers that were there that day were Don Wurtzen, who was an icon.
Yeah.
Don Bertson. Yeah.
Don Wurtzen.
Michigan.
And from Grand
Yeah.
Rapids.
Yeah.
And Dwight Lyles,
Yes.
who was knocking back songs right and left. And a new kid named Don Cook. And I opened the door, and Don was literally standing outside
That's a monumental moment in life
Wow.
right there.
brought him in,
Wow,
and
wow.
he sat down, and he, "What does he have?" And he said, "It's so obvious what this has to be. I can't believe you guys didn't hear it." And that's the day I quit writing melodies.
Wow. Wow.
Listen, that's so funny. And I had this story in my mind. I think I've told Sue this, but I lived, and we've been writing. The first musical we did together was 1999. That whole time, up until about 6 or 7 years ago, I thought the first cut she ever wrote, this is so misplaced in time. I thought she wrote "You Gave Me Love"
When
by
nobody-
B.J. Thomas. Wasn't that B.J. Thomas?
Yes, you
Yeah,
gave
nobody
no one
gave
gave
me
me
a
a prayer,
prayer.
which was a
Nobody gave me a
great
prayer.
song, which is a great song for back then.
I had this quiet memory in my head that Sue C. Smith wrote that song. Isn't that funny?
That is funny.
Wow.
That's funny.
But you just mentioned something funny about the tracks. All the
Yeah.
tracks came
Oh,
out.
Yeah.
See, I had this low voice. I had this weird low classical kind of. I had a baritone version of a Larnell or a
Yeah.
Steve
Yeah.
voice back in the 80s.
It's a church voice. I always said it was appealing. It was just
Nobody,
no.
just old people loved it. I mean, I couldn't buy a record
He
deal.
just called me old.
But listen,
Well,
But I did.
at
But I
this
did. Not by much.
but listen, it was before even
Yeah,
the years of like 3 tracks.
Yeah, of the 3 keys.
So here's what I would do. I would go to my church, and we didn't have a worship pastor. We had a choir director.
Right.
He was the Kern's bread man. He lived up my street.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
was Kern's bread man by day, choir director by night. He would do Wednesday night choir and then lead the singing on Sundays. I would go to the church and I would go through all of his packets. Because he would get all these packets from Benson and Lilliness, Singspiration.
Yeah, Singspiration. Yeah,
And I would find songs, I would find anthems that I liked, and I would go and look. So I would want to sing like "Much Too High a Price."
Yeah.
Did you write that song?
I wish. Phil McHugh.
It's
Yeah.
a great
He
song.
paid
And I would go-
Do you remember that?
Yes, Lord. Oh,
I would
gosh.
want to sing that song,
Yeah.
but I couldn't sing it in the Larnell key. So I would go find a choral arrangement and order the anthem track
and use the track.
and use the anthem
Wow.
track. I
That
did that
is
for
so
years.
funny, which is perfect.
So, a little trivia about Much Too High a Price, if you want to hear it. There was a guy named Greg Buick, who was the guy who came up with the name High Lows
Yes.
tracks. I had written only Southern Gospel, and I was at Benson. And Greg called me in one morning, and he said, "I've been listening to your lyrics." And he pulled out Servant's Heart from Larnell and played Much Too High a Price. And he said, "You can write this kind of lyric." And that became the standard.
Much Too High a Price.
Wow. Did you write "I Miss My Time" with you?
No.
That's a great song.
I
too. That
came
whole
in the
era.
next record.
Okay, that.
So another fun fact about Much Too High a Price, this was 1990. That was the first solo I ever sang at Two Rivers.
Really?
With
Seriously.
the track and everything. I was so nervous, and I was a college student, and I just remember just being scared to death because for a million reasons. I came from this tiny little church. I
Yeah,
had never seen
yeah,
anything like this,
yeah.
and I joined the choir.
Huge church.
It was changing my life
Yeah.
Wow.
in every way. And he asked me to sing an offertory special, and
Yeah,
I
before
brought
the
my
message.
cassette. Yeah, that's right. And I sang Much Too High a Price with the schmuck key track, like from Let There Be Praise
Yeah.
3
Yes.
anthem track.
That
And I
is
sang,
so
that was the
funny.
first thing I ever sang at Two Rivers.
So I remember knowing how much you were excited about the Larnell cut. And Cindy and I were in New York City, would have been like 90 or somewhere in there. And we walked past Carnegie Hall, and you were singing. Your picture was on the front of Carnegie Hall with Larnell Harris.
That's right.
You did Savior.
I did Savior with Larnell at Carnegie.
Was that so? What was that like?
Oh, I was beside myself. I couldn't make sentences.
How did it come about?
That was like a 25th anniversary.
It was 25th anniversary, and
Yep.
the promoter just asked me to come and do one of the roles.
Yeah.
I think the Wayne Watson role, and he was doing the Larnell role of Savior.
yeah.
Oddly enough.
Yeah.
And let's see.
And it still sounded like the original.
It sounded like the original, man, and that was I think that was 2018.
Wow.
And
I bet it was 19, but go
or
ahead.
19. Okay, there you go. It probably was.
I'm kidding.
And he just was astounding
Yeah.
in his late 60s
Yeah.
at that point. And
Yeah.
I would assume. And I'll never forget it.
So, 2 years ago today, and all these years I've heard my friends post, I was at Carnegie Hall, and I'm all, 2 years ago today, we did a new musical there, and I got to go out and talk to the choir. It was, a barfoot
I
thing.
remember seeing pictures of that. Yeah.
And I just thought, the kid with the least talent in the room, I don't know how I'm standing on the stage at Carnegie Hall just thinking.
Well, I don't know how you're measuring talent either, but go ahead.
So, so when you're singing, and okay, so given our history, I've known you almost from the beginning, and then years ago we were at the CCM United concert.
Yep, I was there.
And Mike Harlan, I think, was kind of co-hosting that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember where I was sitting, and you walked out to the piano. I had no idea you played piano. And I just remember thinking, what in the world? I was so interested in the songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
And I've told you the story before, but you didn't believe me, so I brought evidence tonight. You had a record that you did.
Oh, no.
And I liked the font on the cover. Do you remember hearing the story? I think I've told you. So
I think I do. Oh, but no, I don't want to. That was the first one.
okay, right? So
He looks so young. You look like a little
Now-
pup there.
Oh my gosh.
and again, I have the CD to this. Stuff I keep.
Yeah.
But see how the T and the C.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool.
So I
I
was
should have kept that.
doing a new project, but I liked the look of that, and so we tried to recreate that.
oh no.
There it is.
There it is. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I've got to see both of those. That's
Oh my gosh.
hilarious.
The way you look so much like your boy. in
Yeah,
that
all
picture.
the way.
All the way.
Sam. Yes.
That's funny.
That's so funny.
That's hilarious.
And I
I'm
don't,
glad it inspired you in some way.
because the music didn't. But
Right? I know.
I mean, you're one of the artists that are on my short list of people that I've known forever and I've never had a cut. But I'm not bitter. I just want to say that.
Is that really true?
That's true.
We've also never written together.
That's part of it. Yeah.
No.
But the reason is, here's why, and it's the honest to goodness truth. I still to this day get so nervous.
Yeah.
I would be nervous to write a song with him because I feel like
I've heard that from numerous
this
other people.
this
that
is
have
the
talked
time
to
I'm
us.
going to get found out
Yeah.
that I'm just a singer who knows chords, and I know the same chords that I was writing
Who
in the
has
90s
a nice font?
with a great font. And do you look at this last cut on here?
so
You know what the last song on here is? Because I'm always about I would rather sing somebody else's great songs that have impacted me
Yeah,
than my
yeah.
own. And the last song on here is "Arms of Love" by Amy Grant.
Which is one of the greatest
I have
songs.
found a place
Oh,
where
my-
I can hide.
Do
Gary
you know that-
Chapman,
do you
Amy
remember that
Grant,
song?
Michael Douglas
No.
Smith.
It's one of those songs you put on and you just.
I mean, I've
It's
heard,
off-
heard this cut of it, obviously, but
It's off the El Shaddai record.
I kind of came into Amy Grant
Or is it-
later.
Or was it Straight Ahead?
It might be Straight Ahead.
One
It
of
might
those
be
two.
Straight Ahead.
One
But
of those
it's
two.
one of those pieces. I always think of that and In a Little While of just
Which
they
was
just,
Age to Age. Yeah.
They just bring that. I'm going to go find that and listen to it.
So you can't have my copy.
Well, I'll find
No,
it.
the
I'll
Amy.
find it.
He needs to
No,
hear the
I'm going to
Amy. Go
listen. I want to listen to Travis.
So we ask everybody this over the past month, but have you been to the new museum yet?
I have not. I want to.
I would love to walk through that with
Me
you.
too.
'Cause you could
Me too.
explain.
Yes.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
it's
would
for,
love
for
it.
history buffs,
Yeah.
like the three of us.
Yes.
It's pretty fascinating. If you haven't gone, you're a big truth junkie.
You would absolutely love it, Travis. Just you'd see things that you think, oh,
Yeah.
So that'd be
So I had a truth window. It was from 80s, like probably Making It Matter, all the way through. I want to say like 92 or 93 when they left Benson, and then they maybe like the first record they did with Integrity.
those last Benson, those records at Benson were
Yes.
to me some of the greatest truth.
Now and
records.
Forever.
There was
more
a song.
than you.
There was a
more than
song
you'll
they
ever
did called "A
imagine.
New Heart" that I'm telling you what, I may not sing like the angels. I may not preach like Paul.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, those
Oh
songs.
my gosh. Yes.
And you know, Roger's son, Jason, I play guitar in his orchestra.
I
every
know
Sunday.
you do. That's incredible.
So did you do?
and he sounds just like Roger.
Did you travel with Truth at all?
I never
Never
did.
did.
I never did.
You auditioned though.
I auditioned once.
That's all it took.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And he was, I remember it was Alicia, and she was like, "You're a baritone. You'll die out here." She said that not so many words.
And
I was like,
now, I mean, over the years they kept pushing the higher voices too.
"Oh yeah, higher, higher, higher."
Wow.
Yeah.
But that you think how many icons went through Truth over the years,
Oh my gosh.
and then you go, I'd love to see the list of people that auditioned.
That didn't.
Yeah, they
Yes.
didn't make it. Yeah.
The other night he was here for something, and you know Emily Ann, the
Yes.
country singer.
Love her.
So I introduced Emily Ann, her husband were here, and I introduced them to Jason and named Breland. And I said, Jason Breland, and I said, his dad started a group called Truth. And Emily Ann goes, my mom wanted to sing with Truth. I mean, it's just everybody's
That's so
got
fun. Yep,
everybody's got a Truth connection.
Yep.
That's right.
And I was, until the Making It Matter listening party, I had never heard of them.
I hadn't either until I met David Moffat, and we were in that group together.
Wow.
And they gave me, that first year we were in the group, and I had to learn these songs I'd never heard, Holy of Holies,
Yeah.
A little song
All
like
That Is in Me,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
and
And then
There Is a Hope.
Yeah. Oh,
and
great
then if you go down to the museum downtown, you're almost pretty sure you're going to run into Dana Capolino.
Oh yeah,
because he helped
He's helping put together.
put all the pieces of
that's
the,
right. And
the-
I've seen
Yeah.
the girls post some
Yeah.
things
It's
with
been
him
very
down there.
cool
That's
to
right.
see him.
What a guy he is.
Oh,
I know we
precious.
kept you way long, and you drove a long way to get here
No,
tonight.
are we done already?
No, we're not
Now,
done
I have
yet.
a couple
but-
more questions for him.
And then I want to talk about some other things going on in your family too. So
Okay, let's talk
yes,
about
go
it.
for
Yeah.
it, Dusty.
So I noticed you still have a huge busy schedule with Beth,
Yes.
Cove, all kinds of stuff that you do. You're still at the church, and you're
Yes.
doing how many Christmas things are you doing this year?
We got 5 this year.
Yeah.
5, yeah. So we'll do 5, December 12th, 13th, and 14th.
I need to come out and see that. Is it worth the drive to Brentwood?
It's worth the drive.
I want to go
Worth
too.
the drive.
I
It's
do.
a lot of
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. I love, I joked earlier, like, I don't ever want to work at a church, and I never did.
Yeah.
And sometimes I still don't, but
Yeah.
I just feel I feel like such a match with these people in this moment in time. It just
sure it's
feels
great
like
too.
I love that.
I love them so much, and what God is allowing us to do, and they are the sweetest, best,
So you have a new little addition to your family. Was it last week?
It was 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks and 3 days ago.
Yeah.
And that is a new puppy or what?
A new grandson.
Yeah.
This is a
A new
first.
little boy. This is a first. Do you have grandchildren?
6.
Oh my goodness. So like
Oh.
everybody says it. There's nothing like
Hey,
there's
you
nothing
love your
about
kids.
Dave. I'm telling you,
I know.
something shifts in your brain.
It
like
does.
That day will come for me, I promise.
yes, I know. I know it will.
Dusty's 2 weeks older than me, and he has a grandson that's 17.
That's right.
That's how much.
But you think, I grew up, I love my kids and I spoiled them and we still 42, 38, 31
I can't
and
believe
30. And we still have a family chat every day, pictures, calls. My daughters 2 or 3 times a day will call. Hey, what's going on? Any new music? Anything? The boys will call.
Gosh. You're so blessed.
I am blessed because I grew up without a father. I didn't have a dad.
oh my
So,
gosh.
but with that first grandchild, well, all of them,
Yeah.
you think and all of a sudden, you love your kids, but
Oh
those
gosh. I know.
grandkids.
I've lost my mind.
I'm taking my 17-year-old grandson with my daughter, his mom, to New York City for 3 days because he loves the theater and he loves arts and he's in a lot of plays at his high school. And he's very musical.
Oh, that'll
We're
change his
going
life.
for his 17th birthday.
So that's an awesome trip.
It will be really
You'll have
nice.
a ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what makes yours a little bit unique is who the other grandparent is on the other side.
Well,
that's a funny story.
Yes,
That's right. I did remember
yes,
this.
yes.
I did,
My son just went looking for a father-in-law that was way more talented than his dad, and found
it.
one.
Yeah.
Found one.
I
So
vaguely remember this.
everything is so interesting. How everything in our life leads back to our Two Rivers days, and these were friends of ours at Two Rivers, and also I went to college with, and I'm going to say Gordon and Kimberly. We ran around in college. We were friends. Like, we hung out.
Yeah.
I sang background on his senior recital. I mean, so we went all this way. And then our kids, my son, his daughter, they met in 7th grade. Separate from us. We had always kept in touch through the years, but never really did a lot of life together, but always loved each other from across town, you know. And our kids met in 7th grade, and now they're married.
And they have a baby.
Now they're married, and we've all lost our minds together.
Oh, I'm sure you
My
have.
wife,
Is this
Angela, and
Gordon's-
Kimberly, and
is this their
Gordon.
first
Gordon
baby?
It's
didn't
their
have
first.
He didn't have a lot though.
He
on the
didn't.
front
They,
end.
right. Yeah, he was halfway there anyway. But
He's
I saw one of your first posts, and I thought, I think I even commented. I said, "Get ready." I
and
said,
listen, and
"Get
Gordon and
ready."
Kimberly, we go to church together. She sings on our team at church, and he plays when he's in town. So now we have this baby, and we're all like, you know, staring at it together, just the four of us like this.
Awesome.
3 of you are.
Yeah.
Dave.
I'm making the joke Gordon would make if he were sitting
would
there.
make- he would make that.
Well, and
Yes,
I
he
set
would.
you up so
You
did
did.
so crazy.
So one of my favorite Gordon, the guy's an animal,
Right.
and he can meet you one time,
Oh, yeah.
and remember your
Voice. That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
truth.
forever. And
That's the
but one of my favorite stories is he was working on Jimmy Fortune's record, and they were taking turns when it was restroom break to lead. So it was Jimmy's turn to lead Gordon to the restroom. So they're coming back down the hall at Ben Isaac's studio, and Jimmy's just talking away, and he's got, you know, his arm. And Jimmy walks right through the door, which meant he led Gordon right into the wall.
Oh no!
And you know, Jimmy, he's just like, I'm so sorry. And Gordon said, Jimmy, as a tenor singer, you're a mess, but as a C&I dog, you're not worth a hoot.
I'm sure that's right.
and Gordon's one of the national. We're trying to get him on here because we just think we've said we'll go to wherever you are, but we think that would be just a funny.
Oh, listen, I'd be happy to drive him out here
He's
and watch
awesome,
that happen. I'd be so
But
willing to do that.
he's been a big. I'll be across the room and walk in and say, "Hey, that Dave Clark, you wrote my favorite Christmas song." And I mean,
That's
to have the gift that he's got is, but that's got to make for some pretty fun family
Oh,
get-togethers.
it's the best. We just, you know,
I love that. We'll just
we're
wait till this
in love with the
Christmas.
whole thing.
Just wait
Oh, I
till this
know.
Christmas.
I know.
Okay, so you're this incredible worship leader. You're on the road with Beth. You're an author. You have all this other stuff. With the changing world of worship at the church today, do you pick out all the songs and everything? Do you go in and set the pace for the service after? Do you talk to the pastor first? Do you even with Beth? Does she work with you on the song selections, or
You know, she very rarely chimes in. If she, you know, and we've done 10 to 15 events every single
Yeah.
year
Oh, I
for
know.
28 years, and I've never heard her teach the same thing twice.
Yeah, she's amazing.
So
Seriously,
She's
ever.
amazing.
I mean,
she's just got that bad a memory.
no, she's so desperate for the word of God. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
she truly like would never just like, this is the theme of the year ever.
Yeah,
She teaches out of where she is
on her journey.
the last couple of weeks. And so she'll occasionally go, you know, we're here. Do you know this song?
Yeah.
And she does it so rarely that when she does it, like 100% we'll do that song.
Yeah,
You know? And sometimes it's something fun. Like
Yeah.
there was one year one event, she was like, our theme this week is saved, healed, delivered. So what would you think about singing signed, sealed, delivered? And so, you know, of course,
I
you know,
love
just
that. I
fun
love
stuff
that.
like
Yeah.
that. And then my pastor, he's much the same. I mean, it's rare that he'll go, as I was preparing, this song came to mind.
Yeah.
And he's very good. But for the most part, I do choose. And I tell you what, choose and plan worship different than I did when I was younger.
Yeah, I'm sure you
Has Beth heard I Wants What I Want?
That's funny.
Oh, I hate you.
I tell you, a Beth Moore connection that we have at my church I think is kind of interesting. So when COVID hit, it changed everything. It changed. Choral companies went out of business. Choirs couldn't sing. Churches shut down. Conferences couldn't happen. And so Lifeway had all this video equipment in a storage room downtown Nashville. And the other side of what happened with COVID was churches that all of a sudden had to be digital friendly that weren't.
Yeah, that's true.
Big churches with successful ministry programs realized we're not ready to be a streaming ministry. They were able to go and rent Beth Moore, the equipment that Lifeway would take to the Beth Moore conferences. Have you ever heard that?
No, I didn't, but I love that.
That is
Yes.
so cool.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Wow.
Anything else you want to add before we bring this in the station? This has been awesome.
I mean, I've loved every second of it. I'd like to interview. Does anybody ever come in here and interview you guys?
No,
Because I would love that.
because I edit. So
Okay, so who are we'll end it with this, because you're such a you're such a, I don't want to say nerd, but with all this, I thought I was, and then I start hearing you say all the stuff you know about projects and everything. Who are some of your what's some of your favorite music right now, in Christian music or secular?
and you can't go back to the 80s.
That's what I was going to say.
Because I'm an '80s fan. We're both.
He's an 84 guy.
I
86.
know.
Listen,
I know.
84 and
I know.
86.
I
That's my
agree.
number 1 and number 2
Same
years
here.
right there.
Same here.
You know, the
I shouldn't know
interesting
that, but
the interesting thing is, it's true. I don't listen to new music.
I get it.
I don't listen
promise
to.
you.
I go to places of comfort.
Yeah,
My wife is like, I feel like my life is in a loop of 80s music and office reruns.
I promise you.
Like,
I'm
I
the
go
same
to
way.
the same things
I'm the same
over
way.
and over again.
I love hearing that, because I did hear a new singer that I really like, Jamie McDonald.
I just
The
heard her for the
song
first time.
"Desperate," because it's reminiscent of those lyrics.
Yes.
You need to listen to her. It's really good. So
You know, I love.
I'll decide if it's good.
no, you're good. Dave Clark, of course, he did write "Mercy Came Running" and "Crucified with Christ."
Well, I thought you were going to ask what's the most indelible music
Yeah,
in my history, and when I look back and I think of the music that just like
yeah.
just hit me like this, I think of the early Phillips Craigening stuff, the Mercy Came Running,
all the way.
and even For Him. I mean, just those songs
Hey,
will
you know,
forever.
you're
be
already on
etched.
the show. You don't need to suck up. But
No, I'm
But
serious.
that is, I do think when that era of music, I'd throw Point of Grace in there. I'd throw Cindy Morgan in there. That whole era of music to me
yeah,
was
it was
just,
church.
It was the lyrics and everything of it. It was church music. It was true.
I call Cindy my Bono. I would go, Cindy, you're my Bono, you're my Oprah, you're my MJ, you're my all those things.
You know, those first two records we know were really dancing, but when she hit in that she started hitting like "We Will Stand." Some of those songs, I'm telling you what, I put those songs on.
Listen, Under the Waterfall.
Under the Waterfall. The Loving Kind is one of my
Loving
favorite
Kind.
records of all time.
But you know what? I would say this too. Back in that day, we wrote songs hoping they would live 30 years.
Yeah.
50 years.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not sure that's the goal anymore.
I don't think it is. And I think that's an interesting conversation
that
about
is.
worship.
Yeah.
I don't think that the test of a good song is it going to last forever anymore. I used to think that, but I just think they so rarely do now. And of course, you want a song to last forever, and some look like they will. You know, the In Christ Alones of the modern era. But I think some songs are for a season.
Yeah. I agree with that.
You know,
And as are some writers.
as are some writers. Yeah.
And I don't mean that negative. I just so a guy like me that is pretty opinionated about songs, we were all listening to the same stuff. And you show up in the studio now, and they'll bring up an old title, and the musicians will go, "You know who played on that? Paul Mills produced." And everybody was reading credits, and I miss that.
absolutely.
I miss it so much.
Me too.
I remember being on a choral session. My old session singer from my session singer days, they still give me a hard time about this. That there was a discrepancy about a lyric on How Beautiful. We were doing an anthem of How Beautiful, one of the greatest songs, right? Twilight,
man.
And I couldn't persuade the suit at Word that they had a wrong lyric. And I said, "I've got the cassette in my car. Can I go get it?"
You did?
I did.
See?
I did. And there I had it. And there were the liner notes and the cassette and everything. He still didn't switch it. I was mad about that, but
Well, and that didn't always mean it was correct either.
it didn't. But just the generation that we were investing in the whole
You're exactly right.
the art of it all.
Yeah.
The beauty of it all.
Well, as someone who has watched your journey almost from the beginning, just could not be more proud of all the places that God has taken you and let you use your gifts. And what an honor for Dustin and I to sit down tonight. That's why
We love to tell the
we
stories.
love to tell the story.
Listen,
and this has been
thank
a
y'all so
great
much.
one.
You couldn't fit all the people that both of you have impacted in this county. You could not do it if you lined them up shoulder to shoulder.
We still love what we do. I think
We
we've
do.
talked about that. I still, somebody said the other day, "Are you going to retire?" I don't have any plans to. I still believe it. Russ
Listen,
Taff
you're-
said it the other night. I still love the music.
Yeah.
I love the music.
You're the definition of joy. Like there is nobody that watches what you do and doesn't know that you take so much joy in it and you give so
But
much joy.
Travis, it's because I'm
What?
a product of what that music did at a 14-year-old kid
And
growing up
He
unsaved.
looks just like the guy in the logo, doesn't he?
He really does. He really does.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, Travis.
Thank y'all.
You're just
Thank
a
you.
joy.